you ready for the podcast? Whole lot we gon' broadcast. Dropping gems, these are all facts. Shooting flicks like Men in Black. Are you ready for the Podecases? Hitting every spot, Dalmatian. Taking off like a spaceship. Podecases not basic. Podecases not basic. Podecases not basic.
Oh hell, man. Oh man, dog, what's up, man?
Man, ain't nothing, man. Another week, man.
Hey, another damn week, bro. How you feeling, man?
Hey, bro, I feel great. How about you? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I would be remiss if I didn't ask what the fuck the story was. Hey, you got some Miracle Grow going? What you do, man?
Oh, nothing, man. Just what are you talking about?
Yo, what the fuck? Yo, man. Yeah. You crazy as hell, man. What's up with that, man?
What's up with what?
What's up, man? How was your week, man? It's obviously some things have changed. I've seen, man. Salute to you. How was your week, man?
I just want to be myself.
Hey, you got no filters on there, do you?
No.
No, that's all you, man. That's all. That's all.
Look, hey, bro, watch this.
Yeah, a lot of us can't do that, man.
Yeah, man. Just it's a lot of juices and berries. I use some juices and berries. I greased my scalp. Did whatever.
Yeah.
Mainly juices and berries. It was just something.
Hey man, salute to you on your juices and berries, man. You have really made a transformation. The show has just exploded, bro. You need to tell everybody your damn secret with that. What type of juices you put in the shit.
I can't do that.
So I guess people hit you up about last week about them hair pieces, man. And
the man wigs. Well,
man wigs, man. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, man, I like, yo, that's a real market. That's a real deal. And I see nothing wrong with that. People hit us up, salute to everybody that hit us up and just kind of chimed in on that. But those man weaves, and I wouldn't call them weaves, I just call them enhancements. You know what I'm saying? Them hair enhancements are pretty dope. Yeah. And salute to whoever to invent that shit.
You could be anybody you want.
Well, listen, man. If people can put the smooth face filters on, do the hair, do the nails and all that, why can't a brother get a hair damn piece, man?
Matter of fact, tonight I don't want you to call me Chris. I want you to call me Krista, like Rasta, Krista. Put the accent with it though. Don't just call me Krista like call me Krista.
How do you spell that, man? So I can
CHRASTA, and you put an accent somewhere on there. I don't know exactly where the accent goes.
Oh, okay. We'll work that out for next week, man. Everybody, welcome to the Lowdown, episode 8, man. It's been a hell of 8 weeks, bro. Salute to everybody, man. Thank you. This guy has changed. Some things have changed about our show, and you can see. You know what I'm saying? Some things have changed. We still the same old Podecases, but yo, my man has really done something with the hair, man. So, things have changed, but we all the same. So salute to my man, Chris Dow over there, man. Welcome to the show, Chris Dow.
Bumba clot.
So you should be the one over there smoking, not me.
Nah, that's the only. I don't smoke. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay, that's what's up, man.
But I should. That would have been. Yeah.
Man. You always been the level-headed guy of our crew, man. So so keep it rocking, baby. Oh man, yo, that's crazy. What's up, D? Hey, what's up, D? Walk? How you doing, man?
Hey, I told you I was gonna grow it out at some point, right?
Hey, yo, man, you did.
I grew it out this week. Yeah, I grew it out this week.
What you do? You pick it? That's all you did. You just picked it out?
No, well, I picked it out and then I got it. I got some twists. You know what I'm saying? I got it twisted out. So they like baby dreads or whatever. I got a couple colors in here.
So you had to put the headband on to kind of keep it back, I guess, huh?
Yeah, because it's in my face. You know what I'm saying? And so I usually try to keep the headband on when I work out, or if I know I'm gonna be in front of people, I keep the headband on just to do whatever I need to do.
Yeah, that shit gonna be down your back pretty soon, man. Salute, man. Salute whatever you're doing with that, man. I need to.
Yeah, I can, man. I can ponytail it up. I can, sometimes I might rock it in a bun. You can do several things with it. That's the good thing about having hair. You can do several things with it.
Oh, really?
These headphones kind of restrict me a little bit, but at the same time, it's what I got to do.
Yo, man. Hey, I tell you, man, you caught the wave. Even though you grew your shit naturally, man. Like I said, those man weaves and everything like that is the way you go with it, man. So,
but you know what, man? You know what we didn't think about? I'm gonna be for real. Tyler Perry, man. Tyler Perry has really stepped it up with the man like braid weaves. You remember that stuff he used to put on? What's my man name? Shamar, the actor.
Yeah.
Remember those wigs, those horrible braid wigs that people were wearing in Tyler Perry's movies?
Those things are that stuff is terrible, man. I guess he put all his money into everything else in that studio, but he sure the hell don't put it in the wardrobe.
And nobody's asking him to fix anything, right? Nobody's saying, hey, nobody's wearing their hair like that, Tyler. The braids look horrible. What's that thing on my man's head? Nobody's saying that. I guess he may be one of those people you can't really, say anything to.
Right. I mean, what can you say, right? I mean, he's I mean, I'm not a fan of his movies, so to speak, right? I think those movies kind of put certain aspects of Manning bad, especially black Manning bad light. So here's the thing with that. Those movies, a lot of his movies, right? His template of movie. The successful black man is the fucking villain, right? Mm-hmm. The quintessential blue collar worker. It was salute to that, no problem with that. They come in and save the day
and pray
and pray, right? But the quote unquote successful person, black guy, is a devil, like he's a villain, man. You know? So those shows, I mean, his movies and stuff like that. It's kind of quirky to me, man. I mean, he's doing something right. People like it, man. So I can't really say nothing about it.
He's got that nice studio down there, man. That basically the whole damn city down in Georgia. That's there's a studio. So definitely shout out to Tyler Perry. If he wants to get me to do a little something in the movie with or without, my baby Dread.
Yeah. Yo, man. Hey, man, I saw something crazy this week, right? I followed this fact-finding company on Twitter. The name escaped me right now, but it has something. Every day it posts like these weird facts or whatever, and I guess they take these facts from like taking surveys or just doing scientific facts or whatever. But they said that on average, women tell 11 lies a week. How many do you think men tell on average, according to this survey?
I would say if they said women tell 11, I would say probably they would say men tell 20.
You're wrong. It said on average, men tell 58 lies a week.
No way.
Yes, it says women. But here's the funny thing. So if men tell 58, that's pretty fucked up. But if women telling 11 on average, what do you think they're lying about?
Oh, that's just. I mean, I guess just me, man. I think to lie to somebody is to give them like extra credit in your life. Like, who are you to lie to? I just don't have to tell you anything. I don't have to answer it. Rather than I'm gonna tell you a lie. Where you been? Hanging out.
So
business. Like.
So do you think there's a difference between a lie? I mean, a white lie and a regular lie, big lie, whatever.
No, I think a lie is a lie. I think a lie is a lie. Like, I've seen. I've been in a situation where I've been around somebody, a female who I've heard like tell a lie, not a big lie, but tell somebody a lie, and that's kind of turned me off. Like, man, she's a liar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if you lie about the little stuff, then you definitely had a propensity to lie about the larger things, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true too. I mean, I've heard people kind of defend it and say, "Hey, listen, I lied to protect people, or I lied to protect a situation," and I could see it both ways. And I think a lie is the word lie is a strong word, right? So say for instance, you had to lie to protect. Do you think there's a reasonable or a right time to lie, like a to protect somebody or something like that, or just like fuck it, I'm not gonna lie.
Plead the fifth, man. No comment, no statement.
I'll leave that shit alone then. So what you think them 11 lies? What you think them 11 lies wouldn't be lying about though? On average,
I'm ready.
That's my cousin.
I'm on my way out.
Yo.
Yeah, you the only one I'm talking to.
No, I thought what the women say, not what the men say.
Everybody says that. I think I don't know. You got any insight on what they really are?
I don't know, man, because like I said, I think when we did our dating show back some time ago, and I saw some things people chimed in about, or just people spoke to me off camera about. They was telling me about how when women say when they cheat or something like that, they cover it up and things of that nature. So that lends me to believe like what could they be lying about? And if they only lie 11 times, like damn, that's still 11 lies though. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot.
Well, nigga, if you lying 58 times,
yeah. Who do we the judge, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So who do the judge on that shit?
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. So. Hey man, so this week was crazy. This week, man, we had George Floyd. I think he got some justice. We just want to see what got the verdict, and I was blown away by that, man. And here's why I was blown away. I was blown away because I didn't expect to get all 3 counts with the guilty verdict. I really didn't. And when it all came back, not only was I shocked, I think that convicted killer was shocked as well. The look on his face when that judge read that guilty verdict to him, he was shocked. Like, I can't believe this. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's never really happened before, so you know what I mean.
It's true,
right? It's never really happened before, so I can see how he would be shocked. You know what I'm saying? But I was actually, I did a podcast earlier today, man. I did Straight to Tape, which is real good podcast, man. I think they air at 2:00 on Sundays. If you got a chance, check them out, man. I think they're on all media platforms as well. Straight to Tape. Mm-hmm. My frat brother Perry invited me on a few weeks back, and I did it, and I came back. So I may be acting as somewhat of a legal correspondent for them, during times when legal correspondence is needed. Right. But it's Perry, Tico, Rob, and they have a female, Keisha. Very good and informative podcast. But we talked about that today, man. And what I said was, I never shared what I was thinking. And normally when stuff like this is happening, I try to stay off of Facebook, interacting with people and just people who are just throwing blind darts, just saying stuff. But, I thought they would have a hard time proving intent for the second-degree murder charge to stick. I thought they would definitely get the manslaughter. Second-degree murder I thought was up in the air, man. And they asked me, Chris, when the verdict came back so quick, what'd you think? And the first thing I thought about, man, was OJ. Because, OJ came back in 4 hours, man. Long-ass trial they had. The verdict came back in 4 hours.
I would have came back in 2 minutes, but go ahead.
Rule of thumb is like when they come back, either they already knew he was guilty or already knew he was innocent. So I didn't know, man. And, I was kind of I was actually traveling when the verdict came out, and I heard it, and I was like, wow, man, that's amazing that it came back the way it did. But, like I was saying on Straight to Tape today, man, I do not think that sets a new precedent. We have to look at how much it took to get Derek Chauvin convicted. We have to look at all of the officers who crossed the blue line, meaning they testified against another police officer. We have to look at the 38 witnesses that were called by the state. We have to look at the 6 medical professionals that were called by the state. We have to look at all the eyewitness testimony. We have to look at the videotape. That's not the everyday norm to have all of that. And we had all of that, and we're still like on pins and needles. Like, are they gonna convict this guy? You know what I'm saying? And most importantly, you had an AG and a prosecutor who wanted to convict this case. They wanted a conviction. It wasn't just we're gonna try this police officer because we're doing the right thing and we're gonna let the jury decide. Nah, it was real, man. It was like, yo, we wanna put this guy. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try this case and we're gonna try it right, and we're gonna try and get a conviction. And that's what they got, man. So that was really, in my opinion, it was a step forward. But at the same time, 9 times out of 10, when you have police killings or police shootings or police brutality, you don't have all of that information. You don't have an EMT that just happened to be on the scene. You don't have a self-defense guy who just happened to be on the scene, because a lot of times this stuff is happening on the side of the highway or on a back road. It's not happening on a main street in a major city the way that this happened. You shouldn't, but we do, man. Like, and I said something today on the podcast that we used to talk about, because we used to, man, when we were roommates, we used to watch Chris Rock every day, man. And you remember when Chris Rock said, when do I get my OJ prize? Because when OJ was found not guilty, black people celebrated like it was no tomorrow. And it was the same thing for me. Like, when do you get your Derek Chauvin prize? You don't. And matter of fact, you need to be, if not more careful, just as careful as you were before this happened, because there are a lot of police officers out there who are saying, you know what, this is a 1 in a million type thing. And this guy is falling on the sword for all of us, but we're going to continue to be hateful. We're going to continue to be racist. We're going to continue to operate the way we do behind our mask. So, I mean, we have to, we got to be prepared for that type of stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to that, man. Here's the most striking thing to me, though, man. It seems like more times than not, there's more restraint when it comes to other folks besides black folks and minorities, people of color. The police show more restraint to them. You know what I'm saying? You can go on YouTube or anywhere you want to look at any kind of videos when you see interactions with people of color with cops and people just white folks with cops, right? And those fools can come in with guns, with bats, whatever, and just wreak havoc. And
nobody gets killed.
Right, and no one gets killed. Here's the thing: they have a propensity to use their tasers more with white folks as opposed to minorities and colors, and that's the thing that always kind of gets me. That stigmatism where your restraint is already you got to predispose you're predisposed to having restraint when it comes to white folks as it is with black folks. It's a deadly game when you come into our neighborhoods or interacting with us, that you have to reach for that gun first, and or just assert deadly force to our people. But anytime interaction with those guys, man, it takes a lot. I mean, it shouldn't take that much. You just say, look, we got it on video, bro. What else do you need, man? You know what I'm saying? 7 minutes, 9 minutes, whatever it is. We don't need all that, man. So I'm glad that something got what we got.
Yeah, part of that is that not only is America conditioned, but black people have become conditioned to look at, he should have. It doesn't matter what he did. Like, nobody has the privilege or right to be judge, jury, and executioner. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're just like he got a day in trial. Everybody's afforded the right to have a day in trial if that's what you want, regardless of what you're accused of. But too many times, man, you see, even with like the kid in Chicago, the 13-year-old, it's amazing to believe that since Derek Chauvin's been convicted, we've had like 3 or 4 more police shootings, right? We just had one here in North Carolina in Elizabeth City, and we can't even get the police body cam yet. So another thing I talked about today is, one, you got body cams, but they don't always have to be on. So you got 2 minutes of body cam, 8 minutes of no body cam, 2 more minutes, 8 more minutes. Well, my question is, what the hell were you doing for those 8 minutes when you had the body cam off? Why is the body cam ever going off? So we need police reform. I have no idea on how to do it, but you need police reform, because as long as you have these officers going to parts of the city that they're not used to, and they're using stigmatisms to say, oh, if this person is doing this, they're probably doing this, and blah blah blah. This stuff is not gonna stop, man. It's gonna be the same thing. How do you have, man, while this trial is going on, less than 10 miles away, you got another kid murdered by a cop, man. By a cop. He's in a city. He's in a car. You got the tag. Catch his ass later. It's not that serious. You were gonna pick him up for a misdemeanor marijuana warrant, but you pulled him over for tags. Like, right. And it's COVID. It's not that serious, man. Catch him later. It's just like, yo, I'll catch you later. It's nothing. It's not like we on highway and you probably fleeing away. It's not that serious. It's not that serious where you even got to tase or you got to shoot. Like, some of these crimes are not that serious, man. And just like with the 13-year-old kid in Chicago, man, I had a conversation with a friend earlier this week, and they're like, oh, the parents should be charged. And I'm like, how do you charge the parents? We don't know why this kid is outside. You don't know if he's staying with a grandparent. We don't know if he's staying with a friend. We don't know if he snuck out. But the main thing is, what we do know is being outside at 2 a.m. is not a crime. And yeah, you had a gun, but you dropped it. So there's no reason for you to be murdered, right?
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be that way.
You ain't even been on Earth too. I mean, you're 13 years old, so you have a chance to turn all of this around. But now you don't have a chance because somebody killed you. And that cop will deal with his own demons. But at the same time, man, we got to stop making excuses for this stuff that's happening to us, man. I don't care what your record is. Like, no police officer has the right to be judge, jury, and executioner. It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a lot to unpack with that, because you got a lot of levels on that. And I always said that street cops can ruin your life in an instance. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to deal with that. Police reform is just a conundrum all to itself. They have certain aspects of it that folks would never agree with each other on, that to make this a real thing in terms of reforming how they interact with us and all that. So we'll see what happens with the verdict on that, man. I hope that it all comes back. I hope he gets the max on everything. We'll see. It'll be a nice precedence to set. Like, yo, man, there's consequences to that stuff, man. So it is what it is, man. So that's what's up, bro.
Well, let me ask you one more question, bro. We're talking about George Floyd, and I'll ask anybody who's listening, chime in the chat. What's going on with the case in Atlanta? Remember, we burned down the Wendy's. We protested. We did all this. The guy was sleeping in the drive-thru. He got shot in the back. What's going on with that case? What's going on with the case? What's going on with the case from Milwaukee where the guy was shot in the back 7 times? You remember that? Close range. Mm-hmm. So we don't know, right? We don't know. So we don't know what's going on with these cases. So therefore, if we don't know, there's no media coverage, right? No more media coverage. So if no media coverage, there's no pressure. So now, what the hell is going on with these cases? Because those guys were done just as wrong as George Floyd. Mm-hmm. One of them lived one. So this guy was he was drunk. He fell asleep in the Wendy's in the drive-thru, right? And now he's dead. He's got kids. So, but we don't know what's going on with these cases. So we can't say, oh man, we got a victory with George Floyd. No, we ain't got nothing, man. We got one case out of hundreds or thousands of cases. So we need to know, hey, we got to keep the pressure on, man. We're not putting pressure on these people, man. We cool with the Band-Aid. Oh, yeah. Well, they're wearing body cams. Oh man. So what if you're not keeping them on the whole time? Oh, they got a black female police chief. So what? Man, my buddy Dana told me, Dana said, man, the police chief, she can't do nothing because she don't know what's going on with these guys who've been on the force 30 and 40 years, who are saying, you know what, it's still our duty every day to make a black man's life hell, right? To do whatever, to roll up on you and hope you do something so we can do something back. Man, we taking these little victories, man. I like Jay-Z said one time, man, moral victories are for minor league coaches, man. I don't want no moral victory, man. We need reform. We need police reform. We need more training. We need more background. It's a shame that you got all these cops, and when they do a background check, finally, oh, you figured out, oh, he was in the KKK or he was racist. Do that shit before you hire them, bro.
Well, here's the thing, man. The thing about a police officer is this: it's an easy access. Anytime you got something with an easy access, for example, any job where you have easy access, the pool of candidates is just like a cesspool, right?
Right.
So, like when you take something like a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret or the Rangers, or whatever, those the process to select those people are so strenuous. Even the best of the best don't always get in. You see what I'm
Right.
telling you? And I think
Right.
that's, and although, it's an elite force, but I think police officers should be an elite force as well. So I think the process of selection shouldn't be so easy to get into. Dude, you can damn near just graduate high school. And I'm not knocking nobody, whatever, but it shouldn't be that easy to get access to be a police officer, regardless of
Right.
whatever the
Because
pay
it's
is.
power. It's a lot of
Right, right.
power.
Regardless of whatever the pay is, it shouldn't be so easy to become a police officer. And even once you get in there, the training shouldn't be 12 weeks or whatever it is. It should be at least a year. You know what I'm saying? Going through every aspect of what you may face in a situation and here's the thing, it shouldn't be a special training to deal with black folks. I always hear people like, oh, they need to train, whatever. Dude, why we need special training for us? We're people just like everybody else.
Because
Dude, let me say this. This kills me. And I hear people say, "Yo, we need to, they need to train on black whatever." Dude, why we need to be trained? Why do folks need to be trained to deal with us, like interact with us? Why is this a special training required? You see what I'm telling you?
Let me tell you, bro. I'm in Raleigh. I'm in Raleigh more than half the time, and my fraternity set up a community program with the Raleigh Police Department to talk about policing in Southeast Raleigh, which is majority African American part of town. So we went. They let me on the panel. I don't know why they let me on, because they know I'm liable to say anything, but they let me on the panel. And so the thing is, when the Raleigh police officers came, first thing that turned me off, you had to submit your questions ahead of time. You couldn't ask them no questions. But when they sent officers, bro, they sent 2 African-American detectives who had been on the force for 10 or more years.
Right.
And my question was, well, I'm sorry, but are you on foot patrol in Southeast Raleigh? I want to talk to who's on foot patrol in Southeast Raleigh, because that's where the problems start. Not no African American detective who can sit up at the table and say, "Oh, I know all the people in the community." I'm sure you do when you get out in your suit, out of your unmarked car, walk up to the door to ask, "Hey, what happened? Do you know anything going on?" I'm talking about the guys. But here's the problem: you in that occupation, the people that want to do it, that they need to do it, they don't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? They want to do things to basically make it where they can't operate and they can't work. You know what I'm saying? Disenfranchise them, as opposed to letting some young African Americans, because you know what it is? Oh, no, he's too familiar with the neighborhood. He knows too many people. So, but so you want to put an outsider in there who is, nervous. You're nervous when you're in an environment. You don't know. A lot of it is nervousness, man.
It ain't nervousness.
A lot of it is nervousness, and you're scared.
Exactly, it's scared. It's nothing nervous about that. You're scared. You know what I'm saying? Nervous when a cop. You're not nervous. You're scared. You know what I'm saying? And people kind of mix the two. Those two are not one and the same. You're scared, bro. And when you're scared, you're gonna do what you have to do to protect yourself. You're not protecting the people. You're protecting yourself. So that's some sucker shit. And I always thought that anytime you talk about police reform, you start with these damn panels and all these symposiums and all that stuff, man. I don't believe all that. I think that the way to reform is in law, legislation, our political officials, man, that we elect. You know what I'm saying? And when there's no consequences, right? Besides whatever, when there's no consequences, like every legal profession, somebody can sue you for malpractice, so to speak. They can sue doctors for malpractice, whatever. These cops, they have this immunity that blankets them. When you have to pay out of your pocket from your pension or whatever for something that you did, they found that you were liable for. That changes a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So if a police officer is found liable for killing somebody or just violating their rights or whatever, there should be some type of malpractice that they face that they personally have to pay for. You see what I'm telling you?
Right.
And I think that's the problem when you have no consequence for what you've done. It tends to make you feel like you're above the law and you can do what the hell you want to do, even murder somebody. So
Well, you almost are.
yeah, what's I'm saying. So that, like I said, once there is a blanket penalty to pay, when I go out in the streets right here, or when I live my life or whatever, I know I have to abide by the law. If not, there's consequences to that. I don't think police officers feel that way.
Let me ask you a question. What give me any profession that gives you more power than a police officer who gets behind you and puts on his blue lights?
None.
You can't. Because that and an officer that's out of BLET and hired for day number 2 can do that to you. Yeah. He can ask you to step out of your car. He can ask you to sit on the curb. He can ask you, can he search your car? He can do all of that and fuck up your whole day.
No, your life.
your whole life.
Shit, man, fuck that.
So there's no profession that requires as little training that gives you that much power.
Hey, DL Hewley said it best, man. You can be a damn hairdresser you can be a cop shorter than you can be a hairdresser. You know what I'm saying? You're a certified hair. Let's take longer to be a certified hairdresser than it is to be a police officer. That's some scary shit.
Right.
You have to think about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And besides, let me tell you something. If you're getting paid peanuts, it makes you a lot more volatile, I think. You know what I'm saying? And you think about it, you're volatile, man.
Well, and let me tell you, we talking about the violence associated that some officers are associated with. But man, there's, in my line of work, I represent a lot of people accused of, white collar crime, selling drugs, whatever. There's not a time that I don't get a client who tells me, oh, he said he took 14,000 from me, but I had 25,000.
Right.
So it's not just the violence, man. It's look, like Nino Brown said on my favorite movie, New Jack City. This thing is bigger than Nino Brown.
Hey, man. Hey, I get it about that, man. I would take that damn money too. It is what the fuck it is, man. If I come across,
let me make sure I get you to sign the morality clause.
Hey, I understand, man. You come across that much bread and it's illegal. It is what it is at that point, man. So, man, like I said, there's a lot to unpack, man. With that, man, I just think that the more we become more educated and more we become more involved with our political system, educating each other. Sometimes, you cooler heads have to prevail, right? So sometimes people come to me and tell me, say, hey, listen, you were wrong about certain things that you do or certain things that you say. Okay, cool, that's what's up. Sometimes we got to come to each other and say, listen, although, let's deal with this on a higher level. Just take that ride downtown and fight another day on that. I know it's hard. I know sometimes when you feel like somebody's doing you wrong,
that adrenaline pumping, man.
It pumping, and you want to do something about it right then and there. There is no judge, there's no jury out on them streets. So take that ride downtown and collect your thoughts. Get with somebody that can help you and live the fight that you're on another day. And chances are you could come out clean on the other side and changes could come. You know what I'm saying? So it just all we just got to, like I said, educate ourselves on that, the system, how it works, and on guns as well. You know what I'm saying?
So,
how we go ahead.
Great segue, man. Well, first we got some new people who've joined our live. And anybody who's joined our live who has a problem with my man weave, let us know in the chat because it's here to stay. But tonight we have somebody who's gonna come on, man. This is a good friend of mine. He's out of Maryland. He is the owner of Elite Ballistic Firearms and Training. Shaw University graduate. I think D might have graduated in 1994. He's a NRA certified pistol instructor. He's an NRA certified range safety instructor, USCCA concealed carry and home defense instructor, a National African American Gun Association member, and founder of Sons of Bass Reeves. So make a long story short, he can get you straight on your carry conceal. This guy has been doing this. He's been giving classes. I don't know. He's not limited to African Americans, but he's definitely trying to educate African Americans. And with everything going on now, a lot of people are saying, hey, you need to have a firearm, but you don't just need to go out there and get a gun. Listen to D. Let him tell you what you need to do, how you need to do it, and then compare that with what's needed in your own state. But right now we got my boy Declan Freeman. He's gonna give us a lot of good information tonight. What's up, D?
Salute, bro. Salute. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, what's up, bro? What's up, Chris? Thanks, man, for the invite. I appreciate it. I wish I could have chimed in on the first topic. You guys unpacked a whole lot. And before we get started, I'd just like to say, just as a small caveat, in a previous avocation, I worked in law enforcement outside of the United States. And one of the things I found that limited the police shootings that we have in our community, one of the things that limited it outside of the United States is smaller countries, the law enforcement that operate in some of the jurisdictions outside the United States, they patrol the places that they live, they grew up, the communities are smaller, so they think twice about using deadly force when interacting with their own people, because they know the mothers, the fathers, the grandfathers, they went to school with some of these guys, right. They grew up with them, they dated some of them, so there's a connection to the community that we don't have in the United States. Most of the guys who are in law enforcement in our area don't live in our area. Mm-hmm. So they don't know that, like the young kid from Baltimore, I guarantee you the beat officers in that area know the kid, and they probably know his family, and they probably understood that he's probably just, going through some stuff, and it's probably looking for some help. And,
right.
And they probably understood, not to give him a pass for having an illegal firearm, but they understood that this is not a gangster, he's not a drug dealer. And if they shout at him long enough, he'll drop the firearm and they can smack him in the head and send him home. But that's why in our community, in the United States, that's not how it is. Second of all, the salary is so low, and no disrespect to any law enforcement in the United States, because like I said, I've served in law enforcement outside the country in different avocations, and you're not going to get the best and the brightest. Let's just be honest. Nobody's going to put their life on the line for $45,000 a year.
Oh, yeah. I figured that.
So
yeah.
If you get somebody who's invested in the community, grew up in the community, lives in the community like they used to be back in the day, you would cut this stuff in half. And that's just my 5 cents on the matter. I know that's not why we're here, so I'll leave my...
I totally get it.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
That's what I always thought about it, man. I think, sometimes when you, like I said, your pool of candidates dictate how your business is going to run, or how your interaction is going to run. You know what I'm saying? So just using the analogy of a business, your business is only going to be as good as the people that you have working for you. You see what I'm telling you? So if I go get shit people from a shit pool, I'm gonna have a shit product. Just keeping it real with you, dog. Garbage in, garbage out. You know what I'm saying? So and like I said, I hate the little thing where I hear people say, "Yo, not all cops are bad." Bro, let me tell you something, man. If you interacting with bad people and you don't do shit about it, you bad too, bro. That's my opinion on it. You can say whatever you want to say about it. If you know some shit going down and you don't do nothing about it, what are you doing? You just as bad as them. You're a bad cop too. You know what I'm saying? Some aspects of that. You letting that shit permeate, man. So that shit burns me up, man. But yo, salute, man. Just just tell us about what you do, your business, whatever, and how long you've been doing it, man.
I appreciate it. Like I said, thanks, guys. So I'm basically a firearms instructor, and I've been doing this unofficially for years. I have a small piece of land down here in Southern Maryland. And me and the family and friends, we go down and shoot. I've been collecting firearms for years. It's never been a thing. And then my cousin, who was a big firearms instructor in Austin, he was like, the market is so crowded in Texas. Shout out to Keep Firing LLC. The market is so crowded. He said, but bro, I'm thinking about coming to Maryland and doing some classes. And I said, that'd be a good idea. I know a lot of people that are interested in firearms. And he said, yo, why don't we partner? And then he's like, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and do it? I think it'll be a good thing. And I said, hey, why don't I monetize a hobby? I have a very expensive collection of firearms that are not making me any money now. So at the point when I started the business, and then I thought about it, I was like, hey, this is a good way for me to do what I enjoy, help our people better understand what it means to be a responsible firearms owner, We have a Facebook group called Sons of Bass Reeves, and it's basically men of color that are firearms enthusiasts. And what we found was that, and many people don't know, there is a huge community of minority firearms owner. Everybody has a group. They're Asians, Latinos, Africans. All the fraternities have firearms groups, aficionado groups. So it's a very, very large community. So we started the company, and we weren't really doing it for the money. We basically did it based on referral. People who knew me, and they said, "Hey, I want to go learn some stuff." So,
right.
As with anything else, Chris, being a lawyer, you can't just go practice law because you're familiar with the law. You had to become, pass the bar, and get a certification in different states. So I started taking classes and getting certified. And once I got certified by the state of Maryland to conduct these firearms classes legally, it just blew up from there. And this looks like this probably will be my retirement plan, because we just do things differently. Our classes, we don't do it for the money, so our prices are really low. But what we really, really focus on is helping our people, helping anybody, but more specifically, our people understand that the Second Amendment applies to you too. It's not, firearms ownership is not for redneck hillbillies that ride in the back of pickup trucks that live in the country. It's for everybody. And as long as we have that right, we should know as much as everyone else does. So we spend a lot of time, our curriculum, like for example, in the state of Maryland, to purchase a firearm, a regulated firearm, which is a handgun. Regulated means the federal government requires you to submit to a background check to have a regulated firearm. Now, rifles and shotguns is a little different. And I can talk about that later as to why that's different and the historical reasons of why you can walk into a gun store and buy a shotgun or a rifle and pick it up the same day. There are those people who believe that that's not a good thing.
Right.
In handguns, in the state of Maryland, you have to wait 7 days. And then in 2013, they passed a law saying that you were required to take a class called the Maryland Handgun Qualification Class. And during that class, you're supposed to teach 4 basic things: handgun safety, Maryland law, safe storage, and the process to get a handgun qualifications license. But we decided that we would take it a step further and discuss handgun ownership in the minority community. It's actually a part of the class. And we do that to educate not only our people, but those people outside of our community who may take our class to understand historically why African Americans have been excluded unofficially from firearm ownership. And we teach them a little bit of the history. Like the NRA right now is the governing body. And many people don't know that in the 60s in California, when the Black Panthers started arming themselves and Governor Ronald Reagan passed the laws to regulate firearms, a lot of people don't know that the NRA were the ones who provided the Black Panthers with their firearms.
Oh, wow.
They told them, they were like, we don't agree with your stance. We don't agree with your cause. We don't agree with anything you're doing. We don't like any of it, but we do believe you should be armed. And if it had not been for Governor Reagan at the time and some other things that happened, they wouldn't have passed the laws. Because remember, the laws became restrictive in California. And in all fairness, the laws in California now, even today, are extremely prohibitive for firearms ownership. And that was basically because Black people armed themselves in the 60s.
Well, let me ask you this question, bro. Let me ask you real quick. So the way your company is set up, when somebody walks in or somebody interacts with you and say, hey, listen, what do you suggest for a first-time gun owner? You know what I'm saying? How do you guys kind of educate them on that? What do you guys typically, what's the curriculum on that?
Good question. So our company is, like I said, we don't do this for the money, so we can be selective. So when we advertise a Maryland handgun class and somebody calls or emails us, hey, I saw your advertisement or I know you, I want to get a firearm. I ask one simple question: why? Why do you want a firearm? And we have a conversation. And depending upon that conversation, will determine whether we agree to train you. Because again, the problem with handguns is not the firearm. I do this exercise in my class, and I bring lots of firearms. I lay them all out. And I had the class look at them for 10 to 15 seconds. I says, has anybody passed away yet? Anybody been shot? No. The firearm is not the problem. It's crazy people. People are the problem. So we talk, and if I get a good sense that you have the wherewithal to be a responsible firearm owner, then we set up the process for you to attend the class. And even in the class, there's a slide. There's actually 2 slides in the class presentation that ask you, are you responsible enough to own a firearm? Ask yourself the question.
You know,
it's serious. I won't minimalize it at all. It is very, very serious because the way the law is designed, both federal and local, mainly in the North, is not in favor of the shooter.
Well, here's the thing with the laws, and people talk about we need reform and do all this. I understand that, right? But here's the thing. I think typically what happens with most of these mass shootings and all that, they're done by fucking criminals, right? So the nature of a criminal is to do what? Circumvent the law. You know what I'm saying? So you can have in my opinion, you can have all these laws you want. You can have all these adjustments to whatever state, federal, and local, whatever you want to do. A criminal is going to be a criminal, which means they're going to circumvent the law and find ways around that. So I think a lot of times these laws will do nothing more than hurt the responsible gun owner. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask a question, and correct me if I'm wrong, D. If you know, but a lot of the mass shooters are not criminals yet. They're purchasing these guns legally. And then they go kill a lot of damn people.
I understand that.
But
he's absolutely right.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you enact all these laws, as a result of what these non-criminals done, all you're doing is hurting more the responsible people. The people that have their guns in their home and get training from people like Deglin, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're hurting more of them than you're hurting the criminals. Because criminals don't, dude, let's be honest, criminals don't give a fuck about the law. When have you heard a criminal like, man, I ain't gonna do that shit because they're gonna break the law? You're a criminal. You're supposed to break the law.
Right, so, right. You're right. But as Chris said, he's right. Most of the mass shootings, I would go with 95% of them. Most of those firearms were purchased legally. They didn't steal the firearms weren't stolen. They didn't get them out of the back of a car. They were legally purchased. The guy who just shot up the FedEx place, they confiscated his shotgun and he went back and bought another rifle.
I get what you're saying, but my point is, I'm not. I get that. You can have all the registered firearms you want, whatever, right? If you go and say, listen, you got to do all this right to get a gun. Okay, I'm gonna do all that, and then what I'm gonna do is, or the criminal is not going to say, okay, well, we can't do this no more. We can't do this no more. We can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
The criminal element does not change. The laws change. The criminal's like, oh, we just got to go around this one now. You know what I'm saying? There's not going to be no criminal like, well, damn, now we can't do that.
But you know something crazy, Sean.
But let me ask you this. Sorry, Chris. But let me ask you this. You have a very good point. But there are those on the other side of the debate. There's 2 sides. There's pro-gun and anti-gun. And then there's us in the middle, which are moderate. There are those anti-gun folks who say we should get rid of all the guns in the country, get rid of all of them, and we'll be safer. But as you said, the criminals don't care about the law. Right. So what you'll do then is tell the criminals that I know if I break into this house, there's no gun in there because all the guns are gone.
Right.
The only guns out on the street are the illegal ones. So you're absolutely right. The law can't stop the problems that we're experiencing with firearms. But what can happen is very, very simple. Listen, I follow this stuff. And like Chris, when there's a firearms incident, I don't comment on Facebook. I don't comment on social media. I leave it. People inbox me and ask me my opinion, but I don't comment because there is one common denominator for every mass shooting. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to say what it is, but you know what it is. It is one demographic that is responsible for 98%. And that's a statistic you can actually look up. 98% of all mass shootings are done by one demographic,
white people,
one small group of people, and they all have the same thing in common. They did not know how to deal with problems, whether it be rejection, failure, or not fitting in. Those guys, remember the Columbine shooting that started all this?
Yeah.
Those guys were upset because they didn't have any friends.
Right.
I'm almost 50 years old, and they were mad because it was 6 of them. I don't have 6 friends today.
So
I have people I'm cool with.
Right.
people I'm associated with, but I don't have 6 people. If I call a party right now, so I need my 6 friends to come to the house, I can't get 6 people to come here because that's just not the way society's built now. We don't have large groups of friends.
Hey, so get rid of them guns. Some people will come over.
Yo, Chris, guess what? There's a saying among the firearms community: you can have my guns when you pry it from my cold, dead hand.
Hey man, yeah. I mean, I get it. So when somebody comes to you, are you able to kind of like and you lay, like you say, you lay your guns out on the table and stuff like that? Do you think there should be some type
in the class, not like around the house?
Yeah, right. You lay them out in the class, or whatever. Do you think some psychological type work should be done to people that's trying to take these classes, or are you just like, hey, listen, we, you know?
Okay, so in all fairness, it goes back to what you were saying. Psychologically, what we do, I'll be honest with you, and I don't speak on behalf of the NRA who certifies me, or USCCA who certifies me, and all the other organizations I'm a part of. I'm speaking on behalf of Elite Ballistics Firearms and Training and myself. And when you go through these classes, they actually teach you and they encourage you to have conversations with your students before the classes start and listen to the things they say and their body language. Some of the questions we ask you when you come into class, like I said, what do you want firearms for? We watch them interact because before class starts, it's about 20 minutes where people are just moving around, and I have other instructors with me, instructors in training who help me, and they're moving around and we're talking and we're observing people. And if we have people that give us a bad vibe, then we kind of pay more attention to them. Now, I fortunately have not had to have, I'm sorry?
But you still train them?
No. If I have a bad vibe, because again, this is not about the money. So I haven't had anybody like that yet, but I have been in classes with other instructors who have had people who have made comments, racist comments. I'll be honest with you. The firearms industry and the firearms world is very exclusive as regarding African Americans.
Right.
If I go to the NRA conventions. I go to some of these things. I've had people. I was just in Flat Rock, North Carolina, 3 weeks ago for a class. And I don't know if you know where Flat Rock is. It's right outside of Asheville.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing this shirt here with my patches and stuff, and I'm having dinner. And I have people. I've had the guy coming to me ask me, I didn't know they let you guys be instructors.
Oh wow!
And I said, you guys. He said, I mean, you're different, and I'm like, you mean black?
Yeah, gang members.
He said, well, not necessarily. It's just I thought that the NRA. I said, no, I'm an NRA instructor. Yes, I am certified, and there are quite a few of us in the NRA. Right. And he goes, you love guns then? I said, no, I love my family. I love life. I like my guns, but if they were all gone, I would move on with my day. Oh, well, that means you supported the former president. No, I did not. Because I'm not a singular voter. Right. I don't vote based on one particular issue. There's more at stake than just gun rights. So at that point, he paid a check and left. So
like those militias that are out there all over the U.S. Are they more like gun advocates? Because I mean, like, are they gun advocates, or are they just like, listen, we're trying to protect just our rights or whatever? Are they kind of protecting like gun rights, or whatever? What's their deal from what you know? Okay.
Those militias, let me tell you something. If we got rid of all of the guns in the United States of America, those militias would still exist. They would just use clubs and knives. Their issue is not with protecting firearms rights, because if you were, you would work with those organizations that are lobbying the federal government. That's how you protect gun rights, not forming militias and practicing military moves in the woods and barrels and things like that. That is really, most of those guys are wannabes. Now, I'll be honest, over the last 2 years, there's been a surge in those types of groups containing African American people.
Oh yeah.
I know you've heard of NFCA, not effing around coalition. They are growing. No, I'm serious. Google them. They are growing, and it's African American guys who are former military, former law enforcement, and they're training other African American people the same way those other militias are, basically because they believe they're fed up. I won't share my opinion on the whole matter, but I don't think it's in short, I don't know if that's productive. Yeah, I think the best thing for us as African Americans is to just get educated and use the legal means. If you feel you need to protect yourself with firearms, the law does not the law does not exclude you from owning a firearm based on race,
right,
or political beliefs. Actually,
okay.
So let me ask you a question, D. So,
yeah,
when did you start? When did you actually start Elite Ballistics?
I started Elite Ballistics about 1.5 years ago.
So, have you seen with the temperature of America right now, the uptick kind of police shootings? Have you seen your business grow, or what's the state of it like right now? What like how often are you doing classes? How large are the classes? That type of situation. And this is for the classes you do in Maryland.
I'll be honest. If I were unscrupulous and wasn't so careful of who I train, I probably could do a class every weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Because of COVID, we're limited to 10 people.
Okay.
I probably could do a class every weekend.
What do you charge?
That's just, well, for the Maryland handgun qualification, I charge $150, a $50 deposit. But that's not what I get the most business from. I get the most business from private lessons, and I have something called Girls and Guns. And basically, the black women in our area have a lot of money and a lot of time,
but no man.
So they do things like paint and sip and paint and hike and sister. Nah. They are looking for things for groups to do. And one of the things that has become popular is Girls and Guns, and I get those requests. I have a group coming out of New York.
Wow.
In a few weeks, coming all the way out of New York. They're going to spend a weekend. It's one of our Shaw sisters, Chris. I won't put her out there, but they're basically going to spend the weekend. And on Friday, they're going to shop in casino. And then Saturday, to spend the day with me doing firearms and stuff. And on Sunday, we partner with a self-defense company. They're going to do self-defense, hand-to-hand stuff on Sunday. And then
shoot me a DM. Let me know who that is.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you up.
So I want to say one thing, guys, before we keep going, just because I feel obligated to kind of say this. A lot of people don't know what the Second Amendment is, and that there are Second Amendment groups who, in law school, there are people who believe the Constitution is a living document, which means it can be reinterpreted and things can be done differently. And some people believe it was written how it was written and it's stuck there. So the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So a lot of people, and I don't even know, this is a conversation that we argument that we have in law school, and it happens every year. So some people say that when the people wrote the Constitution, the originalists of the Constitution meant for the militia to be bearer of arms and not just the regular people. Of course, the Constitution was written so long ago, nobody can explain to us what it means. But that's the argument a lot of times against the Second Amendment is, well, no, it wasn't actually meant for average Joe to bear arms. It was meant for our military to bear arms to protect our state. You can make an argument almost either way. So that I just wanted to share that with people, because that's part of why people are saying, oh, the Second Amendment, it doesn't mean that, and that's why you have the groups like the NRA who are stark Second Amendment people, and their interpretation of Second Amendment means just what it says. It says the right of the people to. But you got to think back in that day, the people back in that day, you could have a house, and if the Civil War is going on, and you got a house in Virginia, the military could just come take over your house. You see what I'm saying? You might not have to leave, but they could just come and say, you know what, we got to lay low here for a few days. It wasn't like it is now. So it's just a lot of that's where a lot of the debate comes from. And a lot of people don't really understand that. So I felt it necessary to kind of educate the people listening. That's where you get the debate over Second Amendment is like, no, they didn't mean for us to bear arms. They meant for the military.
You know who the military was, though, right? Back then, when all it was written, it was normal people. It was us. It was the people that came along. There was no and people get this crazy. I'm gonna give you a quick history lesson. Just 2 seconds. This is a real quick history lesson on the American Revolution. It was guerrilla tactics by an untrained army of normal people that fought this deal. Right? There was no way they was going to win this. They did not win this on their own. They had like the French and all that helping. But my point is, back to what you're saying, the military was just people, like the people that came along and say, hey, listen, we need to protect what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I can see where people kind of blur those lines and say, okay, yeah, this is for everybody, which I think it is. I think everybody should have the right to have a weapon. Undeniable. So I think everybody should have the right to have a weapon, because how you say, if I'm a crook, if I'm a criminal or whatever, if I'm going out here robbing people's homes, being a burglar or whatever, I'm gonna think twice. Because if the majority of folks have a gun, I'm gonna think twice about going into somebody's crib, dog. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm a law-abiding citizen or another criminal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna bust off on you, bro. It is what it is.
So let's think historically, right?
Okay.
I agree everything what you said, Chris. I agree with you. It is open to interpretation, just like the Bible and all these other things.
Right.
And the way the law is worked, the way the law is, it's open to interpretation. And if people don't think of any other reason why America is the way it is in a positive way, do you know when was the last time we've had a foreign country invade the United States? Every war we fought since
Pearl Harbor.
Every war we fought since the Spanish-American War was fought somewhere else.
Pearl Harbor.
And one of the things people need to think about is what keeps other countries from marching down Pennsylvania Avenue is the notion that the United States of America is the most highly armed country in the world. You will not walk down Pennsylvania Avenue
and make it.
We have the military, I get it, but you're not walking down Pennsylvania Avenue and just attacking the United States. You can't go to Raleigh, and let's take Raleigh out of the picture because we have the National Guard in Raleigh. Let's take Rayford, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
No foreign military is going to walk down Main Street, Rayford.
There's no reason,
take over anything because everybody in Rayford has a gun.
There's no reason to.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. Let me tell you something, bro.
There's a lot of reason to.
There's no reason to walk down Rayford. There's nothing strategic about that I would want if I came to invade the U.S. You know what I'm saying?
Let's take Wilmington, North Carolina, which is on the coast. Most waterways are where foreign militaries attack is usually the waterways. They come from the sea first and then via the air. Wilmington, North Carolina is on the water. You're not going to pull any foreign naval vessel up to Wilmington, North Carolina, and a bunch of foreign soldiers get off the boat because everybody in Wilmington owns a gun.
Dude, they won't do that because of the U.S. military, not because of Billy around the corner drinking coffee. Let's keep it real, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
let me tell you something. Like
I'm
we
with
had,
you, but just think about if you think about Vietnam. Vietnam wasn't won by the Vietnamese military. It wasn't won by the Vietnamese. The Vietnamese military didn't force U.S. soldiers out. It was the Vietnamese people. The Vietnamese people in those villages that forced them out.
That proved my point. Exactly. So what I'm saying is certain things you like when you have guerrilla tactics, you're not going to win that one. When you fight traditional wars or whatever, there's no win for that. You know what I'm saying? Like when we go over there and fight these traditional wars, dropping bombs on these people, whatever. Yo, all jokes aside, we got our ass handed to us in Vietnam. Them dudes were not giving up.
Yeah.
Them dudes was not giving. Like the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Let me tell you something. The Ho Chi Minh Trail that came from North Korea to South Korea. Here's the deal about that. They bombarded that thing every single day. The next day when it came back, that trail was rebuilt. You know why it was rebuilt? Because like how you said, the community came back and rebuilt that trail and allowed those North Vietnamese to come back down south. You know what I'm saying?
But how did they protect the trail? How did they protect the trail when the U.S. military? And I don't want to. We could debate this all day. Honestly, I love that. The U.S. military, when they bombed it, the Vietnamese people defended the rebuilding.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They defended the rebuilding.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't defend it with their military. The military was out fighting the wars on the border and in Laos. The Vietnamese people defended the rebuilding, and then the U.S. bombs from afar bombed it, and they kept doing it. And every civil war that you will think about is because the people armed themselves. Now, you could debate whether the United States helped arm some of those people and whether the Russians helped arm some of those people and things of that nature. But that is one of the things that keep some of these foreign nations at bay. Yes, the U.S. military, but the U.S. military is only, what, 300,000 strong? The Chinese have more military than that.
Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But you're not going to march down.
I don't think
you're not going to march down.
Fuck that, man. I don't think. I say this. I don't think the Chinese are out there in their war rooms like, yo, man, when we get to Wilmington, these motherfuckers going to be coming at us. No, they don't give a fuck, man. They don't give a fuck.
But if they invaded, okay, so if they invaded the United States,
if they got past the military, what the fuck is Billy going to do?
Billy believes. Billy
goes down for this, man.
And he's been shooting all weekend, blowing up cans and bottles. Billy believes in the flag. Billy believes in America and live or die. Listen, those militia guys. Let me be honest with you. Now they probably will run at the first sign of a grenade or a real automatic weapon, but they believe. And sometimes all you need is belief.
Let me ask y'all a question. Let me chime in real quick. I'm gonna chime in as the person who didn't go to American history class
or didn't listen.
Yeah, maybe I went. I didn't take very many notes. Just to bring it back to our audience, D, what I want you to tell me is if I'm new to this gun ownership thing, and I want to protect me and my family, what do I need to do? Do I need to get a handgun? Do I need to go get me a shotgun? What do I need to do? And with a caveat, so we don't get sued, D don't get sued. Any laws that he give you is probably from the state of Maryland. You on your own to look up your own laws in your state, whether you have a castle doctrine, a run first doctrine, or what. Stand your ground or what. But what I want to know is if I'm a single guy and I hear that door start rattling at 12 a.m., 12:04 a.m., do I need to get that revolver out? Do I need to get that shotgun? Do I need to put a hole in them? Do I need to put a hole through the door? Do I need to wait till we break that threshold? What do I need to do, and what's easier for me?
22.
Good, very good question, Chris. And I'm going to say you're 100% right. All the laws are different in every state. I can talk about Maryland. I can talk about Virginia. I can talk about DC. I tell people all the time, again, we talk about that conversation. What is your purpose? If they say home protection, because there's a difference between home protection and personal protection. Personal protection is you outside, concealed carry. That's different. Home protection, the next question I ask them is, are you prepared to train at least twice a week on a gun range with a pistol? And are you prepared to do drills at home with your family? What happens if there's an intruder? Because home defense is a whole class by itself. Are you prepared to develop muscle memory with a pistol, which requires hours and hours of training? Because when that kick in the door you were just talking about happens, you cannot rely on your eyes because you'll get tunnel vision. Your heart rate is going to increase. Your adrenaline is going to rush. You're going to get tunnel vision, the whole 9 yards. Are you prepared to override that through muscle memory to where your body reacts?
Well, let me ask you a question, bro. I took a couple classes out here some time ago, and I go to the gun range. And here's the thing: people always talk about this, and I'm just talking. People like, yo, you need this massive Magnum gun to protect your family and all that. What people don't understand is how loud that shit is. You know what I'm saying? And how much force is going to result from that. So if you're firing these guns and you it's going to blind you, number one, and it's so loud. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be, like you said, you have to be trained on this type of stuff. You can go grab a gun, put it in your nightstand.
Now you don't have to be professionally trained, but you have to train the body.
Right.
And so what I tell people is, if you are not prepared to dedicate that kind of time to using a pistol as home defense, you probably should get a shotgun. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need to train, because you still need to train, but it's a different type of training because it requires less muscle memory to be effective with a shotgun. But using a shotgun in home, you have to train your family. You have to train your family, because what happens is when, again, that 12 o'clock knock, Chris, you were talking about,
right?
Your body takes over. Your mind is out the window, and all you're going to see is about that much. It's the night before you were drunk or had a few, or it's the middle of the night. You hear the noise, you wake up, adrenaline starts pumping, your heart rate increases. Your vision goes from here to that.
Okay.
You open your door. If you have kids in the house with you, what do kids do when they hear a loud noise in most cases? They run to mommy and daddy's room.
Right. So you got to make sure they're out the way.
Yeah. So you open the door. You have this much vision. It's dark, and you have something running towards you. You could possibly kill your children or a loved one. So we teach in home defense, and I'll give this for free, to have a home defense plan. That when that loud noise happens, you train your kids. You do drills like a fire drill we used to do back in the day. Don't leave your room. You go to your special hiding place in your room, and you wait there until you hear the secret code word. If the code word is blueberry muffin, you stay hidden until you hear blueberry muffin. I don't care if you hear the ambulance, fire truck, whatever, because when the police come, they're going to sweep the house. They will find the child in the closet or under the bed. So you don't have to worry about that.
That's good advice.
I charge for this. But you tell the children, stay in the room, and you don't come out until you hear blueberry. If you don't hear blueberry from mommy or daddy, you stay there. Now the police will arrive, EMTs will arrive, and they'll go and they'll find whoever's in the house. That way, your body doesn't have to think anybody that's coming through that doorway is a threat. Unless you have visitors or family or guests, and you tell them the same thing. You know how when your family comes to visit, you got to tell them what the Wi-Fi password is?
Yeah.
You tell them the same thing. Hey, if anything pop off in the house, you hear a loud noise or something happen, yo, go under the bed and you wait there until the police come. Let me come get you. If I don't come get you, you wait till the police come.
How often you suggest families run through something like that, though? Like the same thing with guns with muscle memory. I think that's about, I think your adrenaline may take over with a child.
Same thing with a fire drill. How many people in your home know where the fire extinguisher is in your house? What do the kids do when the fire alarm goes out? Now, a lot of times we don't teach our kids these things. And just because we think these things will never happen. But I always tell my family, who thinks I'm crazy, that I would rather for us to be ready so we don't have to get ready. Now, they're all older now and out of the house, but my son's 6'8". So if something happens in my house and I go to the door and I see 6'8" running down the hallway,
bam,
we got a problem. Because it's and there are lots of little drills you can do. One of the things I teach my concealed carry people, my concealed carry students, when we're on the range, I make them put their hands in ice water. Because I let them shoot first. They shoot and they're killing it 3 to 5 yards. Because in the state of Maryland, 3 to 5 yards is in your personal space. You have a better chance of getting off on a deadly force case if the threat is in 3 to 5 yards, because that's your personal space and you could make the argument I was threatened, etc. So I don't teach anybody to shoot beyond 7 yards, because 10 yards, you can avoid the threat. We don't have stand your ground in Maryland. So I let them shoot and they get all comfortable and they pat themselves on the back, and then I make them put their hands in ice water. And then I make them run to the target and come back. Now I want you to draw. The hands are numb. They're winded. The adrenaline's pumping. They can hit the broadside of a barn. And I tell them that's exactly how you're going to be if you have to use deadly force and you confront a threat. Wow. So you have to train. So the answer to your question, Chris, home protection is a decision. If you feel like you are dedicated to going to the range periodically, there's some drills I could teach you, or you can find them on the internet to get yourself ready with a pistol, then get a shotgun. And then you still have to train, but it's a different type of training, because there's a different type of training.
And I know go about 90 minutes, but here's one thing that I see a lot of mistakes happen, man. People get that purchase permit, they go buy that gun, they put it in the car. Now I'm gonna give you guys some personal experience I had. I had a young lady call me about a month ago who was partying with her girls up in DC. She said, my car got broken into. I parked in the deck. She's from North Carolina. My car got broken into and somebody stole my gun. What you think she did, D? She called DC police, said my gun got stolen. My firearm got stolen. Police took that statement. Now, after they took that statement, they went ahead and put her in handcuffs. You know why they did that? Because you have to understand reciprocity. You can't carry a gun to DC or Maryland, and definitely not New York. If you want to know about New York, Google Plexico Burrs and Google how you shoot yourself in the leg and then you go to jail for several months. But what happened was you can't have a North Carolina gun permit and take it to DC. So when she called the police and said, my gun got stolen, the police said, did you have your gun was in this car in Washington, DC, in this territory? She said, yes, it was. Well, how about you step out of your car and turn around and put your hands behind your back? And then she said, well, I want to hire you. I said, well, you probably do better with a public defender because you've already made a confession. There's not much we can do for you. Not much I can do for you. So when you get that permit, you have to understand, I travel a lot of states. I'm Atlanta, I'm DC, I'm Kentucky, I'm Tennessee, I'm Virginia, I'm West Virginia. I'm all up and down. I know when I get to DC, if that gun ain't somewhere in the trunk of my car, and even when it's in the trunk of my car, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do because you are not supposed to have that gun. So you have to understand, that's a very important part of classes, what reciprocity is, number one, and where you have reciprocity. There's times if you're in New York and you got a gun, period, it's 3 years, ain't no pleading down, ain't no bargaining, ain't no nothing. It's 3 years at Rikers Island, period. So if you don't understand, then you don't need to be doing this. Because although it's, I'm traveling safely with a gun because I'm staying in some sketchy hotels. I know, man, when I'm leaving Springfield, if I'm staying off of I'm staying at that Best Western off of 161 in Springfield, I need to know, I can keep my gun there, but when I get on the 395 in the morning, that shit better be way up in the trunk somewhere, right? Because that's how it goes.
And you're 100% right. A large part of what we do in our concealed carry class is talk about reciprocity. And I'm gonna be totally transparent. I'm consider myself a moderate gun. I'm considered a moderate. If I could ask for one thing from the federal government, just one thing related to firearms, it would be universal reciprocity. I knew this was going to come up, and I want you to look up the Shaneen Allen case from New Jersey.
Okay.
You heard of that name, Shaneen Allen?
I haven't, but I'll look it up.
Single mom, 4 years ago, single mom, clean record, had a Pennsylvania concealed carry permit, goes into New Jersey to pick up a child, has her gun in the car, she had the gun on her, pulls over to change a tire. State troopers from New Jersey stop to help, see the firearm sticking out of her waistband, lock her up. She gets charged and convicted and goes to jail. Appeals. It took Governor Christie to pardon her to get her out of that case.
I bet.
So we talk about reciprocity ad nauseum because that is the biggest thing. And I talk, even in my Maryland handgun class, which is not concealed, we talk about how to safely transport a firearm. Now, honestly, Chris, there is something called safe passage laws, which some states have, which allow you to drive through a state with a firearm and a concealed carry permit from your issuing state. But at the outset of this conversation, we talked about how police officers are. Chris, I've been stopped, and I don't have my Maryland anymore because it was useless. I have a Utah permit, and I had an officer pull his weapon on me because I had a Maryland driver's license and a Utah permit, and I had my firearm on me. He literally sat in his car.
Why the Utah
permit? The state of Utah issues non-residence permits. There's several states that do it. Utah, Arizona, Florida, and we actually offer that class too. And that allows you to carry states as a non-resident in 38 states. So my Utah permit allows me to carry my firearm in Virginia, West Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, a few others. There's 38 states. That has more weight than a Maryland permit when there's no reciprocity for anybody in Maryland permit. And I know that there's been a debate. I've heard some people tell me that there is reciprocity. but I don't know if that's accurate. But I've had an officer pull his firearm on me because he didn't even know that as a Maryland resident, I could have a Utah permit. And it wasn't until he Googled it while sitting in the car that he realized that he could not arrest me for carrying a concealed firearm.
Wow.
I've even, in North Carolina, Chris, I've even had to, but this is just something I teach my students. If you know you're going to a particular state and you're going to conceal carry in that state, print out the law, the concealed carry law from that state, fold it, keep it in your glove box, just like you keep your registration papers, because county sheriffs and local law enforcement, they may not take your word for it, and they may not even be willing to look it up.
Right.
And in some states, you are required to tell them that you are concealed carrying. So when you say with your Maryland license, your Maryland tags in North Carolina, I have a concealed weapon in my car, and then you present them a Utah permit or Arizona permit.
Red flag.
Big red flag. So now
right.
you may be arrested until they figure it out. So I print, and I tell my students, print out the laws from those states, especially if you're doing what's a long haul, like let's say you go and drive from Maryland to Florida, you got to pass through several states.
Right.
Print those laws out so that if you get stopped, you can hand it to the officer from his jurisdiction, the actual statute, and say, I'm authorized.
Right.
And then I also teach my students safe interaction with police officers. Now, there is no guarantee that an officer might have a bad day and you get shot. But there are some very basic things you can do that can help minimize that deadly interaction. And if you don't mind, I know we're running over. Give me 5 minutes. This is important.
Oh, take your time.
So you're driving at night and you're being pulled over and you are a concealed carry permit holder. This is what you do. When you get in the car, you cut on your hazard lights. That lets the officer know you know he's there, and you pull over. Now, me personally, I keep my driver's license, my concealed carry permit. I don't keep it in the glove box. I would keep it in my pocket. I keep it in a little dash thing that's right by the steering wheel of my particular vehicle, so that I don't have to bend down and dig.
Right.
I cut on the cabin lights. If it's at night, I cut on the cabin lights. I put the concealed carry permit, driver's license, registration in my hand with my hands on the steering wheel like this. And I don't move. Officer comes to my window. What are you speeding? Yes, sir. Officer, I need to inform you, I am a legal concealed carry permit holder. I do have a firearm.
Don't confess to that speeding no more.
But guess what? I'll take a speeding charge to get him on my face.
Right. Right.
If that's going to get him to give me my ticket and go, whatever. I have a firearm. It is on my right side. It is loaded. It is chambered. And I stay and I wait for instructions. Now, I've had him pull that firearm on me. I've had him ask me, are you law enforcement? Why? You just seem like you're law enforcement. Are you an attorney? No. And then they go through that spiel. They take the stuff and I keep my hands there and I don't move. One of them, and please forgive me, one of the mistakes Philando Castile made was he reached for his firearm. Oh, I'm sorry, he reached for his license, which was near his firearm. I'm not moving my hands until he tells me. Right. I've had officers reach into my car past me and remove my firearm once I've told them where it is. Yes, it's excessive. It's a pain in the butt. It's not fair. I know they wouldn't do it to anybody else. But my goal, like I tell my son, is to come home.
So we just got a question in the chat, Declan. Is that, can you purchase with the permit, the Utah permit?
No.
Okay.
No. The Utah concealed carry permit is strictly to conceal carry in the 38 states that authorize reciprocity. In the state of Maryland, you have to take that class. Now, every law is different in every state. In North Carolina, they're trying to change it now. There's a purchase permit in North Carolina.
Right.
Or if you have a concealed carry permit, you can purchase. They're trying to change that. Just like Tennessee. Tennessee now has something called constitutional carry. That means anybody who is a resident of Tennessee who is not a felon can purchase and conceal carry without a class or a permit.
Wow.
That's what's up, bro.
So
now, as a moderate, I'm against that.
Right. So and we getting up on and Tasha said thank you. She just put something up on Facebook this week about people needing safety class with guns, and now we did this, and just so happens she's in Maryland. So you guys, if you are in Maryland, you should reach out to Deglin and take a class. Something that we should all be educated on. But before we go, I definitely wanted to touch on your son and daughter, man. You got kids that are doing huge things, man. Huge things. And I just want to give you a minute, because you talk about all the traveling. I know, your daughter was down at ECU. Your son's playing high school basketball up in Maryland, but I'm sure AAU got him all probably over 50 states. So touch on that for a minute, man. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, thank you, Chris, man. I talk a lot about my kids. I talk too much about them if you ask me. Yeah, my daughter, she's a grad student at ECU now. She ran track. This is her last year. She got another year of eligibility for track at ECU. So she's in her first year of graduate school. So she's free for her undergrad and part of her graduate degree. I'm really, really proud of her. That's my princess. She's doing her thing, and I couldn't be more proud of her. And my son, he's actually the number 2 player in Maryland now for his age group. They're in Pittsburgh now playing in the tournament. He's 6'8", plays 1 through 5. He's at St. John's College over here in DC. He plays for Team Takeover EYBL, so he's playing 16U now. So he's playing up. He's already got a few college offers. I'm sorry, yeah, he's a rising 10th grader. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my guy. He's not in a good mood today. They lost to Team Durant in the championship. He played four games today.
Wow.
Yeah. He averaged short of 11 points this weekend, but he had to guard the number 1 player in the state, which is Derek Chauvin out of Baltimore. The number 3 player in the state, Kwame Evans, he had to guard him the second game, and so he's had a rough weekend. So he'll be traipsing in here later on this evening in a bad mood. So.
Hey, D, I'm 6'1". Let him know he can't check me, man. He can't.
I'll pass it on,
even
Chris.
at 40, he can't check me. I hit him with some of these left-handed threes, man. I will
definitely pass it on to him, but don't.
I'm a South English Street legend, man. I'm a South English Street legend, yo. You can ask people.
Yo, don't be surprised if he hits you up. Like he'll take you up on it. He's quiet around us, but on the court, he's a. Sometimes I don't recognize him, but I'm proud of him too. Like I said, I got 2 great kids. We got a great family, and we're blessed beyond. My kids haven't paid for education since elementary school. So because he's on autopilot right now, the high school and the AAU program take over his career in high school. I'm just dad now. So that's one of the reasons I actually was able to start the company, because they don't know. I mean, if I travel with them, they don't stay with us. They don't travel with us. I'll just be sitting in the stands looking crazy. So
right.
It gave me some time to go ahead and start the company and build a legacy for my family.
Well, hey, something we definitely respect, man. That's something me and Sean both have kids. We talked to you a little bit before we started about our kids were born around the same time, man. We definitely huge on dads, being in lives, doing big things, man. And that's awesome, man. I see how you tout your kids, both of them equally on Facebook, man. And it's definitely something to be proud about, bro. So that's huge.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, man. My wife and I laugh. We don't even know what to do with each other now these days, because we used to spend so much time on the road. She would go travel with track, and I would travel with basketball. We really don't know what to do with each other right now. We really look crazy because we just don't. We have all this time now. I mean, with the company though,
Right.
All right, man. Hey, yo, bro, we really appreciate your time, bro. Thank you. We indebted to you for your information. Everybody reach out to him. I got his information up on the screen there. Take a class with D, man. He got some great information. Keep you and your family safe and keep your ass out of jail or dead. Salute, bro. We really appreciate it, man.
Hey, yo, I appreciate it, guys. And you're welcome. I'll come back anytime, man. We only scratched the surface today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Shaw you, y'all. Shaw you all day. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, my man. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, Shaw you, man. Appreciate it, man. Some good info, right?
What's up, man? Yeah, it was good info, bro. It was really good. It really was good info, man. Appreciate his time coming through and hollering at us, man. And I thank everybody for joining us this evening, man. Salute, bro. Like I said, just We appreciate everybody coming out. It's week 8, week 9, week 10 is coming up. Salute to everybody, bro. You got anything you want to say?
Man, I think I got 2 inches of new growth since we've been on, man. Can you see it? Can you see it?
I see it, dog.
So, guys, we talked about the golf outing in Atlanta for week 10. That we may actually skip a week because week 10 is actually Mother's Day. We will respect the mothers, and we'll probably do that the weekend after. That will be week 10, but we're still gonna be going live from the ATL. Sean gonna be wearing that big L on his face from the golf course. So that's still gonna happen. I may cut my hair before then, may not. I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know. But we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us. It's always a blessing to be able to give people information that they can use for the safety of their family, safety of themselves.
Yo, salute to Dwayne Wilkinson for joining us, man. Felicia, appreciate it, man. Kenyatta, salute, man. Everybody, thank you for rocking with us this week, man. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a blessed week. God bless. And we see y'all guys in about a week here. Yo, salute, everybody. Salute.